So I'm gonna name this video 607 what the hell? Because what the hell? 607 BCE. Okay, so we're gonna go over the importance of 607 real quick. If you're a witness, you know 607, or you're told 607 BCE is when Jerusalem fell. Now if you're not a witness, why does that even matter? Like, that's ancient history, who cares? This is why it matters. The witnesses used 607 to predict the coming of Jesus in 1914. So 607 is of utmost importance for Jehovah's Witnesses, the only group in the world that 607 matters. Why did this come about? So 607 came about because they were trying to predict the end of the world originally. Charles Taze Russell said the end of the world was coming in 1914. And he used random scriptures from 3 different places in the Bible. One talking about Nebuchadnezzar's time, one talking about weeks being a year, or a day for a year, and another one, I don't know, some other random one. You'll have to look it up. But they get a certain amount of time. They calculate from 607 to BCE, 2000 whatever years up to 1914, and that's when the end of the world was going to happen. Well, obviously the end of the world didn't happen in 1914, so they switched to say it was the invisible coming of Jesus is when 1914 signified. So what does that matter though? Well, okay, so we have all this information. What does it matter? Well, when that prophecy was made, there's only so much archaeological evidence and biblical evidence that pointed to 607. Now, unfortunately for the Jehovah's Witnesses, there's a crap ton of archaeology and a crap ton of stuff that was unearthed by archaeologists. And the Romans were great at keeping fantastic records. So there's plenty of information out there, historical information that point to 587 being the time of when Jerusalem fell. Now again, for the general public, it's 587 instead of 607, not a big deal. But it is to Jehovah's Witnesses. It is, if you're looking to strengthen your reasoning for leaving the witnesses, that's huge. Because that disproves a lot of predictions by the Jehovah's Witnesses if you tell them that 607 is wrong. Now, I believe there's a whole bunch of reasoning on the scripture stuff about that because it is so evident that they're wrong. They try to come up with some crazy reasoning why they are right and that it still is 607. And they take a lot of historical stuff out of context in order to try to prove their point. I'm going to touch on that real quick because witnesses love doing that. Fact check. I did this when I was fading. I did this a lot during the Watchtower because I just didn't want to be there. So anytime there was a quote, and this is, if you're fading and still going to the meetings, this would be a fun thing for you to do because you're hating the meetings probably right now. Either your parents are making you go, or you're going because of your spouse, or whatever reason you have. So anyway, when they make a quote, just Google the quote. So 9 times out of 10, it'll bring you to where the quote came from. And 9 times out of 10, it is taken so far out of context, it is not even funny. Because they talk so much about how accurate they are. We want to be accurate about the Bible and accurate about this. They quote mine the shit out of stuff. So you could say, it's really nice that the witnesses are nice people, but they don't fact check and they're actually a horrible organization. And they would take from that quote, witnesses are nice people, and say, see, this guy said witnesses are nice people. When in all actuality, the quote is damning on them. So they are just fantastic for that. They will quote mine the shit out of stuff to support their argument. So anyway, anytime you see a quote, Google it while you're sitting there at the meeting. I used to sit in the back room, where the screaming kids were and whatever, and just sit out back there and look up quotes because it's fun. I mean, it gives you something to do. So anyway, back on to the topic. They will quote mine the stuff, but 607, they have a bunch of information why that they try to say support 607, but it's not. So please do some historical research. Jump on the internet, Jump in an encyclopedia, any historical anything. You don't need to go to, if you're still nervous about going to like JW Facts or something, you don't have to go there. Just jump on, and grab an Encyclopedia Britannica and look up, when did Jerusalem fall? Super easy. And look at all the historical evidence, and you'll know that the witnesses are wrong. So again, that's a thing. They'll say, Satan's just trying to blind you with misinformation or whatever. But think about this: when the entire world knows that 587 is when Jerusalem fell, and the Watchtower, the world used to think it was 607. So, what reasoning would the witnesses have to not change to follow history? And they have a huge one. From 1914 is the reason why they're going to stick to their guns. So, anyway, what the hell, 607? Just a fun little video I wanted to make and talk about for a moment. Hope everyone's having a great day.